and as we're even talking in the introduction, that the COVID-19 pandemic showed us that there is so much that can happen, and we need to be prepared to deal with the infections that even that are infectious or highly infectious, and as the lab we need to be prepared to be able to deal with that. So I will allow Wimbai Mkondiwa to try to share his slides as we test the system, and then be able to share. Wimbai, please try to test your slides.
Okay, good morning, Chair. All right, so let me try and do that.
All right. Whilst you are doing that, I'll also allow Chaka Ndo to try to test if he can unmute and share. Chaka.
Chair, can you allow me to share?
All right, that's fine. We're allowing you to share. Just try again. Chaka, can you unmute?
Okay, Chair, it's still saying host disabled participant screen sharing. May you try again?
All right, I'm trying again. We're trying again. Try now. And that's also one of the positives of the COVID-19 pandemic. It showed that with technology, we can do so much, and we are able to share with one another, irregardless of the geographical location where we are. And it's great that we don't have to be limited by being at the same place at the same time. It's not still not allowing you to share, is it? Try again.
Yes, share. Can you disable the
All right,
screen
we are
sharing?
disabling. Try again. In the full screen?
Okay, yes. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, but it needs to be in a, it's like yes.
Okay.
Test whether you can move to the next slide.
Okay. Yes, no, that's fine.
All right. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we do welcome you to this session on demystifying biosafety and biosecurity, which we are holding as we celebrate the Medical Laboratory Professionals Week. And we are highly honored that Wimbai Mkondiwa could spare some time with us to share on this important topic, and which really does affect us in the lab. We need to be working safely in the lab, and we also need to protect the public from the infectious material which we handle within the lab. Wimbai Mkondiwa is the quality manager at the Zimbabwe Central Veterinary Laboratory at the Department of Veterinary Technical Services, and she is a certified Africa Regional Subject Matter Expert on Biorisk Management and the Vice Chairperson of the Southern Africa Biosafety and Biosecurity, and the member of the Zimbabwe Biosafety and Biosecurity Technical Working Group. We are really honored that she could spend some time with us to share with us. And Wimbai, kindly share your screen. I don't know what has happened again to your screen. We can't see your screen, so that we allow you to start the presentation.
Okay, good morning, Chair. Please confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Vimbai, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. All protocol observed. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to speak on this platform on demystifying biosafety and biosecurity. As Professor Machungura noted, my name is Vambai Grace Mkondiwa. So allow me to also acknowledge the Africa CDC for allowing me or giving me permission to be able to use their PowerPoint slides as well. That's why you're seeing my slides have the Africa CDC logos. Okay, that is my presentation outline. We'll basically look at the misconceptions, have some definitions, and then look on issues of biosafety and biosecurity in depth. Okay, I think I won't go through this slide now because Prof did a great job in introducing me. But basically, that's my profile as a presenter, as well as a quality manager and an expert in virus management. So when I got this topic, this was the first question that came to my mind. What misconceptions or myths are there out there about biosafety and biosecurity? So to the panelists, to all the participants who are logged in, I'll just give you a few seconds to just note down what misconceptions or myths you have about biosafety and biosecurity. So just try and note down even 1 or 2 points. Then we'll see by the end of the presentation if we've managed to actually bring light to those misconceptions. So please go ahead, just note down 1 or 2 myths, and then we'll see if we are on the same page. Okay. All right, so I'll move. So after I got the topic on demystifying biosafety and biosecurity, these are some of the myths that I actually noted. Most people actually think biosafety and biosecurity are the same. They feel that they speak to the same idea, they are defined the same, and the goal is the same. So we're going to look at that and see whether it is true or not. And others think that biosafety is only for the laboratory worker. I'm not sure on the platform if we only have laboratory workers, but if not, then we'll see how each and every person is affected by biosafety and biosecurity issues. And then others think that it's just about wearing PPE. They say for me to be safe, I just have to wear PPE, personal protective equipment. Is that the case? We'll look into that in depth. And others think it's just a one-time effort, that once you come to work and you say we are laying down biosafety and biosecurity principles, then that is it, it's done. Is that so, or it's a daily effort? We'll see. And then others only think that biosafety and biosafety is only relevant in laboratories that actually handle high-risk pathogens or those that require high containment. What about labs in high schools, in primary schools? Are they, do they have to put in place biosafety and biosecurity principles? That's a question to think about. And then we also want to, others think that it's actually expensive to set up biosafety and biosecurity measures. So we'll look into that as well.
Limbai, I can't hear you. Oh, I think she has lost network. Let's just be patient. She's coming. She's rejoining. She has just lost network. Let's be patient.
Hello, Prof. Bachingura, please confirm if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Sorry, you had lost network. Reshare, it's all right. It's one of the challenges with technology, but we nevertheless we make use of it. Reshare, check. Reshare your slides. Technology is good, but sometimes it can let us down, and we make use of it to the best of our ability. Just go on, full screen. Go back to the slide where you were, and then you can.
Okay. All right. Can you see my slides now?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Thank you so much.
So you can proceed. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We can proceed.
So much for that. So we're talking about biosecurity misconceptions. And we had talked about that others that sorry, Chair, I'm hearing some feedback.
We're having some feedback. Sonia, mute. I think there is Demilola who is an unmuted mic. Okay, I think we are good. Apologies about that. Please proceed.
All right, thank you so much. So we'd said others think that biosecurity is mainly talking about issues of preventing bioterrorism, and others think it's about national security and not about individual security. And others think that the measures when it comes to biosecurity are too restrictive. So these are the major issues that I saw that are not so clear when it comes to biosafety and biosecurity. I think another issue that I didn't mention here is the issue of regulations. I think that comes to it speaks to the issue of the measures being too restrictive, that the regulations are highly demanding. So we'll look into it and see. Okay, apologies, Prof. My slides don't seem to be moving. Let me just address that.
All right. Go out of the full screen and then go back and see whether it can move. Check whether they move before I end it back. Go to the next. It's still on the same slide.
Yes, we're trying to move them. Just a second.
All right. whilst we are, she's working on the slides, please note if you have any questions or any additions, you can type in the chat box, or you can, at the end, we also have an opportunity where we can raise questions, put some additions, or indicate point us to also important information that might be of use to all of us as we learn from one another. And this is why we set this platform, that we can learn from one another in Africa and make the best of what is available to us. Are you able to is it moving now? Well, I can see them move. Are you all right now? Are you comfortable?
Yes. I can continue now. Thank you so much for that.
All right. That's fine.
So thank you so much, Chair. Apologies for that glitch. So as we were saying, that there are so many misconceptions and myths about biosafety and biosecurity. So once we understand what biosafety and biosecurity is about, then we can be able to encourage best practices in these areas. So let's try and understand what biosafety and biosecurity is all about. I'd like to acknowledge that on this platform, we do have members from different spheres of the world and at different levels when it comes to knowledge and expertise on biosafety and biosecurity. So I'm going to just start with the basics so that we are all on the same level and move upwards. I know at the end in the plenary session, we can always discuss even at high level, the other issues that I might have left out. So the basics, when we're looking at biosafety and biosecurity, bio, of course, it means life, from the Greek word bios. So when you're looking at biosafety, we're looking mainly at the biological agents. Others call them infectious agents or pathogens or germs. So when you're looking at these living microorganisms, we are looking at them as well as their toxins, because some produce toxins. And these biological agents can cause harm to humans, to animals, or to plants. And they also cause infections, allergies, as well as many other health problems. So the biological agents that we're looking at when you're looking at biosafety and biosecurity is mainly your bacteria, your viruses, your fungi, your parasites, and your protozoa. So for example, I put down Clostridium tetani. This is a bacteria and it does produce enterotoxins. So you'll find these toxins, they can actually result in food poisoning. So we want to be able to manage both the bacterium as well as the toxins that it produces. Look at Aspergillus. Aspergillus is a fungi. It produces aflatoxins, and this can be very carcinogenic if ingested. So, and they also result in food contamination. Even feed. Imagine if you're a feed producer and you have Aspergillus growing in your feed. That means the result is your animals will be affected. So we want to prevent such issues from happening. And then now we look at the safety and the security aspect of it. Safety, basically, in simple terms, we are saying it's a condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. So safety, we are looking at protection. And when we talked about the biological agents, we said we want to protect the humans, the animals, and the environment from highly pathogenic or infectious material. And then when it comes to security, we are saying it's a state of being free from danger or threat. So we want to ensure that our environment, our world, our labs, our homes are free from the threat, right? We are free from any danger which can result from the biological agents. So that's in simple terms. And then now we'll define now laboratory biosafety and laboratory biosecurity is according to the laboratory biosafety manual. That's the 4th edition under the World Health Organization. So laboratory biosafety is defined as containment principles, right? Then we have technologies and practices that are implemented to prevent unintentional exposure to pathogens and toxins or their unintentional release. So I'll go back to this definition. It says there are containment principles. There are measures that we have put in place to contain the pathogens, right, and their toxins. And there are certain technologies that we are using. For example, instead of using the old methods in PCR, now there's real-time PCR. There's so many technologies that are in use, and we are saying we want to prevent unintentional exposure. Then you can ask yourself, how can someone get exposed unintentionally? Let's take, for example, our courier personnel. We have, remember, our samples come from all over. We might have a central lab, but samples will come from all over, let's say all over the country, let's say in Zimbabwe. So we have courier personnel, your FedEx, your DHL personnel. They transport our samples. We, in as much as we package our samples, let's say it's a rabies sample, we have done our triple packaging sample. It is the outer, the inner, and the labeling is there. You might find that there might be a case where there's leaking. The samples might leak, and we might unintentionally expose the courier personnel to that pathogen, right? And then you have a case where there is unintentional release of pathogens. I'll give you an example. Let's say, for example, there was an example of one of the bikers when they go out to when they're taking out samples to the main lab. So at one point, instead of using the appropriate packaging, they used the yogurt containers. You know, the small yogurt containers. Because they were out of the proper packaging material. So they put sputum samples, I think these were TB sputum samples, and they put them in the yogurt containers, and they wrap them up, and they put them in a box, and they put them on the motorbike. So for some reason, the motorbike driver, he stopped at a shop, and there were street kids around that area. They saw the motorbike, and they saw a box on the carrier, and they opened it, and they saw yogurt containers. What's the next thing that you do? You're opening it, right? By the time the driver came out, he saw sputum samples, fecal samples all over the ground. This was unintentional because no one wanted to release whatever was in those yogurt containers into the environment. So we, as the personnel who work in labs, we have to make sure our personnel are safe from both unintentional exposure and unintentional release. I hope that one is clear. If you have any questions, just note them down. And then on laboratory biosecurity, we are now looking at the protection, control, and accountability for valuable biological materials. We want to, within our labs. So basically what we're saying is we want to prevent unauthorized access. Now we are talking about within the lab, we have, let's say we have our salmonella, our anthrax samples, our isolates, right? We want to prevent unauthorized personnel having access to them. Remember, we work in a lab. It's not an isolated environment. Most labs work within a bigger organization. There are support personnel who are in that lab. You have administrators, you have drivers, you have accounts personnel, you have IT personnel. So you find that they have, at some point, they have access to the laboratory. So you want to prevent the unauthorized access. They do not have the authority to access your biological agents. So you have to put in measures to prevent them from accessing. And then you want to prevent loss of the whatever valuable material that you have. You want to prevent theft. So what measures are you going to put in place? You're going to put even physical features, your doors, your burglar bars, your biometric access, right? You also want to prevent misuse of those biological agents. Remember, some people can take this pathogenic material and misuse it. For example, I'll give you an example of one lady in the States. She had an altercation with one of the workmates. So she took just a fingertip, a fingernail, and swiped on the salmonella isolates. It was a culture of salmonella, swabbed it with using a fingertip, and she came out of the lab and she sprayed that on some sandwiches and she gave them to her workmates. I'll tell you, over 24 people actually suffered from diarrhea just from that. So this was misuse because someone was trying to revenge using these pathogens, and others might divert. Um, for example, you were saying you want to prepare vaccines are prepared using attenuated biological material, right? So some people might divert the use of those pathogens and use them for other issues. And then also want to prevent intentional release. We do have people who are out there. Remember, in the misconception, we said biosecurity is only about preventing bioterrorism. Bioterrorism is it falls under intentional release. We do have people out there who have mindsets that are set on causing harm and danger, not only to themselves, but to the humans, animals, and the environment around them. So they might release these pathogens. I remember reading a paper even on Zimbabwe back in the 1960s during the guerrilla war. The white regime, they introduced anthrax into the compounds of the blacks, and they attacked all the cattle that were there. So, in terms of war, when man has cattle, for the African men, having cattle, it means power, it means you are able to fight your food. So that what it meant was during that war, the black man was defeated because the animals were killed, they did not have food, they did not have power, and so they were defeated. So that was an intentional release of anthrax into their cattle heads. So I've put down those two references. You can look them up and do further reading on the definitions and on what biosafety and biosecurity is about. And then here I've just put in a chart to just show that biosafety and biosecurity do have interlinkages. In biosafety, you can put up engineering controls, right? We said you can put up your biological safety cabinets and make sure you have directional airflow. By directional airflow, basically what we're saying is when you enter into a lab space, you are holding a sample. Whatever you enter with has to flow out in that direction. We don't want anything coming back out to us. So we want that directional airflow, and then we also want that negative pressure that allows for the biological pathogens to move out of the lab, right? Using those biological safety cabinets. And also we want to ensure that there's good laboratory work practices. I think from the time we were in high school, this is one of the issues that we were taught, that if you're working in the lab, ensure that you have good lab work practices. So it also answers the myth that biosafety is expensive, but it's basic laboratory principles that need to be adhered to. Hand washing, when you've used your gloves, know how to don and doff your PPE, proper waste management, right? As well, even the PPE, know which PPE is appropriate for the work that you'll be doing. If there's need for you to wear goggles or a respirator, it has to depend on the type of pathogen that you're handling. And then on the biosecurity side, we said this can be physical features, your doors, your passwords, card readers, biometric access, your cameras, even security guards, fences, bars, magnetic locks, all those, they feed into biosecurity, right? And then in between, you'll find for you to be able to ensure that the lab is biosafe and biosecure, you put in access control measures, right? So you only have authorized people who are coming into the lab. And then you also do personnel management or reliability assessments. You remember we said intentional release is usually done even by people within the lab who have access. So you need to continuously assess your personnel and see their mindsets. What are they thinking about? Are they being affected by anything? Do they have mental problems? Do they have grievances? So these are some of the issues that you need to look at on personnel management. Then it can help you to be able to determine whether you need to put this particular lab worker to have custody of certain pathogens or have access to certain pathogens. It's very, very important to do personnel management. And then as well as inventory of biological hazards, know what you have in store. You can only secure what you know you have. So have an inventory of those hazards, and then make sure there is proper decontamination and disposal of waste, as well as proper shipping procedures. Remember, we talked about the yogurt containers and the packaging. That is part of shipping, as well as practices and procedures. All right. So now we've broken down biosafety and biosecurity. I think we are all on the same page. As a lab now, you want to implement biosafety and biosecurity. So what do? The next stage is to come up with a laboratory biorisk management system. I know most labs are implementing systems. Some have HACCP, some have ISO 17025, some 15189, 9001, 22000. All those are systems. So you find when it comes to biosafety and biosecurity, you can also set up a biorisk management system. Biorisk, basically, we are saying biorisk entails both biosafety and biosecurity issues, right? So now you've set up your system. The systems are systems. They are the same throughout. You require top management commitment. You need your leadership. Remember, these are the people who are going to give you resources. So you definitely need top management. You need to document your work. If you are receiving from specimen reception, handling, how you're going to store, how you're going to do your inventory, even all the way to waste disposal, you need to be accountable for the samples that come through to your lab all the way to disposal. And even retention, how do you retain samples or pathogenic material? So you need to make sure you have your procedures as well as your records. And then you also need to make sure that the system is well planned with well-established goals and objectives. What do you want to achieve as a lab? And then also very key is training and staff awareness. You know, in a system, for it to work, you need to have people who are very knowledgeable about the kind of work that they are doing. So train your personnel consistently and constantly, and have reviews if there are any weaknesses in the system. And then also, one of the myths that we noted was that it's an individual effort. Biorisk management, it requires teamwork and a lot of communication. There is an aspect of risk communication that is required, that if you do come across some risks in the organization, you have to sit down with the team and discuss the impact of that risk, how what are the consequences of that particular risk, and you need to be able to communicate them to all members of staff. And then now we'll look at some key components that make up our biorisk management. So there is the issue of assessment. So now with assessment, you are basically identifying your hazards, you are evaluating the risks that are associated with that biological agent and toxins, and then you're taking into account the adequacy of any existing controls and deciding whether or not the risks are acceptable. So for example, we are in the lab, you have your sample that has come. Let's say you have a milk sample that has come. So you have to identify hazards that are associated with a milk sample. What can be in a milk sample? There can be Brucella. So you evaluate the risks that are involved in handling a milk sample. Because remember, when a sample comes to the laboratory, we term it as potentially infectious. So that means you have to handle it with the utmost care, with proper PPE, and you need to record as much information as you can. So you've evaluated the risk of handling that milk sample, that it's potentially hazardous, probably there is Brucella. So what controls are there? As a lab, there's no lab that runs without existing controls. Remember, we said we've trained our personnel, we have procedures in place. Those are the controls that we've put in place. We have a dedicated specimen reception. We have containers where we put our specimens. So these are the controls that you check. So you evaluate that what is the probability of a specimen reception officer getting infected with Brucella when a sample comes in, given that they have PPE, they have gloves, they have the lab coats, they have procedures, they have the equipment, they have refrigerators, and so forth. It will determine, let's say, for example, between a scale of 1 to 5, the probability of someone getting a laboratory acquired infection at specimen reception would probably be a 1 because you've put in all those controls. But what would be the consequence if someone was to get infected with Brucella? It could probably be a 4 or a 5. So it helps you to that's how you evaluate the hazard. That's how you identify the hazard as well as evaluate the risks. And then now, once you've identified those, you want to be able to mitigate the risks. So there are certain measures that you take to reduce or eliminate the risks, right? So, for example, you might find even a specimen, we'll go back to that example of the specimen reception. One way to reduce the risk, you might find that probably you have new personnel at specimen reception. So train them on how to handle samples when they come in, or how they open them, how they count them, how they record them, so that you reduce the risk of exposure. And then afterwards, you also need to do a performance assessment. You need to you do biorisk performance. You want to see if the measures that you've put in place are actually reducing the risk. So this can be done in the form of audits. So all in all, it comes to this model, which is called the AMP model, the Assessment, Mitigation, Performance Biorisk Management Model, AMP. Remember in Malawi, they were talking about the three-legged pot. Remember in Africa, we use three-legged pots. So in Malawi, they call it the Nkaliawira model because of the 3 legs. So this I won't go much into it. This requires almost a whole week training for us to be able to understand the AMP model, because you need to understand how to actually do each of the 3. You need to know how to do the proper assessment, how to come up with mitigation measures, and how to do the performance. After the performance, what do you do next? So that's a whole nother training that's required there. And then I'll just briefly look into issues of biosafety levels. Remember when I defined biosafety, we said they are containment. Talking about biosafety levels from as far as high school. So we find BSL level 1 involves minimal precautions. It's suitable for microbes with limited risk to health, right? So these ones, BSL level 1s are usually used in high schools. BSL level 2 are our standard microbiological labs where you have standard practices in place. You have your basic PPE and your basic safety equipment available. And then when you look at BSL3 now, you are handling microbes that can be serious or lethal. Like for example, your anthrax and all. And then when you look at BSL4, this is the highest level containment lab where you handle pathogens like Ebola. They are very dangerous, they're exotic, and they demand complete separation from the environment. So these are usually manipulated in a BSL level 4. So basically the differences between these labs is the type of equipment that is used, the type of PPE that is actually required, as well as the flow of work that happens in these labs. Okay. And then I'll now look at, there's so much on biosafety and biosecurity, so I'll just try and share snippets on issues of biosafety. Now I'll look at some biosafety regulations and compliance. So you find coming to Africa, Africa CDC, that's the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They launched what is called the Biosafety and Biosecurity Initiative. That was in May 2019. So basically, this initiative was actually set up after consultations with African Union member states, the 55 member states. So they sat down and they looked at the different issues that were affecting Africa. And biosafety and biosecurity was one of the major issues that was raised. I think implementation of biosafety was rated at, if not below 32%, I think, for Africa. So they set up this initiative in order to strengthen biosafety and biosecurity systems, right? So they wanted the African Union member states to be able to adhere or to comply to international regulations, such as the International Health Regulations, IHR 2005, Biological Weapons Convention, the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1540, and the Global Health Security Agenda Action Packages. So if you go to the Africa CDC website, you can be able to look this up, and you can get more information on regulations that we can comply to when it comes to biosafety and biosecurity. And then now, for me to be able to answer some of the misconceptions and myths that we have, I've decided to just share on how Zimbabwe has been implementing biosafety and biosecurity. So you'll find this slide is talking to the assessments that were done by under the World Health Organization. They did what is called the JEE, which is the Joint External Evaluation, as well as the Global Health Security Index assessments. So from these assessments, these are some of the points that were noted when it comes to biosafety and biosecurity. In Zimbabwe, it was noted that in as much as we have facilities that are handling dangerous pathogens, there's actually no controlled list of facilities that is known. Also, there's no inventory, a proper inventory of all pathogens that are there. We have not mapped them out. In terms of the legislation, it's highly fragmented. We have different agencies and ministries implementing different statutes on biosafety and biosecurity. I'll speak more on this one. And there's no particular agency or dedicated agency that is actually looking at these issues at a national level. Training programs, they are not really comprehensive. You find they're just a training program here and there, but no proper national training program targeting biosafety and biosecurity. No, that means the training needs assessment has not been done, resulting in uncoordinated and unsystematic approaches coming into play when addressing these issues. So you can look up the JEE and the GHSI reports online. They'll show you country-specific reports. The reports talk about different health aspects, but you can also go and be specific and look on the biosafety and biosecurity aspects. And then, so for us to be able to comply with the international regulations, we followed what the BBI, the Africa CDC Biosafety and Biosecurity Initiative, talked about. It required that member states come up with what are called national technical working groups on biosafety and biosecurity. Because in the region, there are 5 technical working groups already in Southern, Northern, Eastern, South, and Central. So each member state now within each region had to come up with a technical working group. So we managed to establish ours in September 2023. It was a collaborative effort between the Central Veterinary Laboratory of Zimbabwe as well as the National Biotechnology Authority. So the grouping is multi-sectorial. We have members from animal, plant, human, One Health Secretariat, the security, academia, even from the Ministry of Defense, they are all a part of it, even partners like the Africa CDC, JHP, GOHU, ASLM, they're all part of this grouping. And we hold quarterly meetings. And we are still looking for more members. So the reason for me sharing this information on this platform is also to open it up to you, to show you that there is a platform for you to be able to talk about biosafety and biosecurity issues. So at the end, you can always get in touch with me on how we can be a part of this initiative. So basically, the TWG is looking at spearheading, establishing, coordinating, and monitoring issues to do with biosafety and biosecurity in Zimbabwe. Terms of references have been developed, but they are yet to be finalized. Those pictures just show you the first group that was there when we launched in 2023, and then the subsequent groupings. And then also, remember I said in Africa, Zimbabwe falls under the Southern Africa Regional Technical Working Group. And Zimbabwe, I was the vice chair for Southern Africa Biosafety and Biosecurity Technical Working Group. That was from 2023 to 2024, with Malawi being the chair. So this year, up to 2026, chairmanship has moved to Mozambique, and the vice chair is Zambia. So the Biosecurity initiative that was developed by Africa CDC, it was a 5-year initiative from 2021 to 2025. So it's coming to an end. So it's going to be reviewed in May, so that we plan for development of the 2026 to 2030 initiative. So your contributions are most welcome to see how we can build a better and safer Zimbabwe, a safer Africa, the Africa that we want. In terms of legislation, remember I said our legislation is fragmented when it comes to biosafety and biosecurity. We do have various government ministries, like the Ministry of Agriculture. We have the Animal Health Act. The Ministry of Environment has the Environmental Act. Ministry of Health has the Public Health Act. So there are so many ministries with different acts that speak to certain aspects of biosafety and biosecurity, and also agencies like the National Biotech Authority. They have the NBA Act, but the issues are not really holistic. They are not covering every aspect that we want on biosafety. So we came up with a concept note that we submitted to Africa CDC, and so now I'm happy to say that Zimbabwe is on the roadmap, has started reviewing our legal framework when it comes to biosafety and biosecurity. We had a workshop on the 7th to 11th of April where we started the legal mapping, and now currently we were actually drafting the roadmap. Where do we want to go from here in terms of domesticating the legal framework? So if you go to the Africa CDC website, again, you'll see a legal framework on biosafety and biosecurity, how nations can come up with legal frameworks. So this one is available. It's one of the roadmaps it's one of the frameworks that we've adopted in Zimbabwe. And then these are some of the acts that we are looking at. There are so many, so many statutes that speak to biosafety. So from the assessor or from the consultant that we were working with, he actually noted that there are over 130 legal statutes that actually speak to some issues of biosafety and biosecurity, and these have been reviewed and are being reviewed as we speak right now. And now I'll share some of the initiatives that we've implemented in Zimbabwe. There are guidelines on management and disposal of lab waste. These were developed under the Fleming Fund in 2021. And then we also have the biosafety and biosecurity guidelines. These are available. We can be able to share these, and you can be able to use them if you want to set up your biosafety and biosecurity system in the lab. You can use these manuals. These are customized for Zimbabwe as well. Even any nation actually can make use of them. And then we've also participated as a regional evaluator in South Africa. What Africa CDC did, it set up what are called RICO webs. These are regional centers of excellence for biosafety and biosecurity. The reason they were set up is because it was noted, remember we said the consultations that were done in 2019, it was noted that we are having scientists or laboratory personnel who are going into the field or into the lab space without prior knowledge of biosafety and biosecurity. So the RICO webs were created so that they could provide training facilities for the laboratory personnel, even if they are already in the field, as well as before they get into the field. So we have a RICO web for Southern Africa. Our RICO web is in South Africa at the National Institute of Communicable Diseases. And then also, I'll speak on the next slide, I'll speak about the trainings that are being offered there. And then also we have Africa CDC has what are called Africa Region subject matter experts. So you can be a subject matter expert in virus management, bio-waste management, biocontainment management, biological safety cabinet certification. So the role of the expert is to offer mentorship, to offer training, and to offer technical support to member states, to organizations, to individuals. So we are available to be able to offer these services. So for you to be an expert, I know you might be asking, how can I be an expert in these areas? Africa CDC sends out calls for applications. So when they do come out, I'll share with Prof. Machingura so that they can be shared broadly so that you can be a part of this grouping. So one of the work that an expert does is training. Like that one in Senegal, we offered training for West Africa. West Africa also has a technical working group in Senegal. And we managed to offer training on biological risk management for the level ones. So these are some of the trainings that have been offered that we've received in Zimbabwe. So we've been trained on virus management, on waste management, on biocontainment engineering, as well as for biosafety cabinets certification. Those are the pictures that are showing some of the members that are there. Then there's a document at the top there that's written the Regional Training and Certification Program for Biosafety and Biosecurity Professionals. You can also look this up on the Africa CDC website. This speaks to the different trainings that are being offered under Africa CDC for us to be able to build a professional in biosafety and biosecurity. We want a fully fledged professional, a biosafety and biosecurity professional. How do we get to that point? We train them through that series of trainings. And then these are just some of the issues that we've, some of the trainings that we've attended or conducted with different partners, with IAEA, with CIRAD, with WOA, with Medical Lab, Clinical Scientists Council. And then this slide basically is just to show you that biosafety and biosecurity is not a protected niche. There's so many activities that are happening out there. So for those who are interested in growing in the area, look them up. Look up NTI, the next gen biosecurity leaders. You can be a fellow in these programs. So there are so many fellowships on biosafety and biosecurity. So after this program, just look them up. Just look on biosafety and biosecurity fellowships and programs that you can be a part of and apply for them. Go ahead and apply for them and develop as a biosafety and biosecurity professional. Also, even at conferences that have to do with safety in the workplace, also apply for those. And then we've even engaged the Office of the President. This shows you that biosafety and biosecurity is a national issue. So we have.
I'm sorry about that. Can you mute for me, Abebe? Abebe, can you mute? Sonia, can you mute for me, Abebe? Sorry about that. Go ahead.
All right, that's fine, Chair. Thank you so much. So we're saying
all right. Go ahead. They've been muted.
If I may continue. Okay. So we're saying we've even engaged the highest office in the country because biosafety and biosecurity is of concern. Let's talk about COVID-19, for example. It affected the whole country. It affected the whole world. So for us to be able to deal with biosafety at a lab level, it's not adequate. We have to speak about biosafety issues at a very high level. That's why there's need to get support from the highest office. Then so the highest office will assist us with issues of communication and advocacy. So that more and more people understand about biosafety. Remember, if we look at the COVID pandemic, if people had not been made aware of what the COVID virus was and how it spreads and what mitigation measures to do or what containment measures to do, we probably might all have been wiped out. but the right information was sent out from the technical people from the lab. They knew what the pathogen was, they knew its transmissibility, they knew how to contain it, and they put out measures that everyone could use so that we could have a safer world. Then also one of the issues that we've done is, I remember I was saying, participate in different forums. As Zimbabwe, we've even participated at the IFBA Global Conference. IFBA is the International Federation for Biosecurity Associations. So there are so many associations world over that look into biosafety issues. And we presented a paper on how to foster equitable and inclusive biosafety and biosecurity practices. And we actually won the best poster presentation. That photo there shows you the presenters. And then we are also offering technical assistance to other nations, like to Malawi. We are assisting the veterinary labs there to develop their biorisk manuals through the WOH, World Organization for Animal Health project. There's a project called Fortifying Institutional Resilience Against Biological Threats. So once you understand biosafety and biosecurity, then you can be able to help the next organization, the next lab, the next country. And then this EMA is Environmental Management Agency is one of the technical working group members in Zimbabwe. And this slide just shows some of the work that they have done to show you that biosafety and biosecurity, remember in the beginning we said biosafety is ensuring that we are protecting the people, the humans, the animals, and the environment from these pathogens. So these are some of the measures that the environmental personnel have put in place to prevent spread of pathogens. They conduct audits, they have safety manuals, they hold wellness workshops, they have done infrastructure upgrades, your eye wash stations, your hand wash stations. They've even heightened their security. They've brought in biometric systems as well as CCTV surveillance. Even in terms of waste management, they now have proper separation and management protocols for them to be able to manage their microbiological waste. And then they also have set up fire alarm systems and basic firefighting protocols are in place. And then now I'll look at the challenges that we've faced as a nation. Of course, there's minimal training capacity on biosafety and biosecurity. Biosafety and biosecurity is not yet infused in mainstream learning. So this one I'll push back to Prof. Machingura and the universities. We need biosafety and biosecurity in mainstream learning. We need it in the tertiary institutions. And then we still have some proposed projects that are yet to be supported. And storage and waste management facilities in the country, they still require attention. Because remember, we have samples, we have pathogens, we need to be able to manage that waste properly. In terms of fragmented legislation, I said that one is work in progress. We are working on it. And then also the issue of working in silos. I'm so grateful for this platform because I understand it has brought so many people from different walks of life to be a part of it. So I think we are breaking the silo mentality as we are on this platform. And then opportunities. So from the first slide that I showed on Zimbabwe, these were some of the issues that were noted to be not in place. So we have taken them as opportunities. We are taking each one of them and addressing them as an opportunity. And then in terms of other initiatives that we want to do, remember we said we want to develop a national biosafety and biosecurity training program. We have a training program for Southern Africa at the RICO Web, remember in South Africa, but now we want to bring it closer to home. We want to have more people trained. So we have our trained personnel, but now we want to cascade the trainings home. Then also to be able to offer those trainings to the region, right? And then the one in red, that's for the universities. We need your help in that to be able to come up with the modules on biosafety and biosecurity. And then, of course, we want to enhance zoonotic disease prevention. So we are going to continue collaborating with our partners and continue to look for more partners that we can work with to fight this biosafety and biosecurity issue. So at this point, I just allow me to acknowledge the Africa Series C for the work that they've done, or the work that we've done together, as well as the Southern Africa Regional Biosafety and Biosecurity Technical Working Group, under which Zimbabwe falls under, the RICO Web in South Africa, we've received our trainings, and then our own National Technical Working Group. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the Global Biorisk Management Curriculum from Sandia National Lab. This is where we took out some of the definitions from, some of the slides, some of the information, as well as the Central Veterinary Laboratory in Zimbabwe under the Department of Veterinary Technical Services, for allowing me this chance to be able to speak to the people. So I think with that, Chair, I would like to say thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Wimbai, for such insightful presentation, and you really took us through all the various issues on biosafety and biosecurity. I'm really grateful. I was the standing chair. Chakando, the chair for the session, is back now. He was having challenges with internet. I'll hand over to him to handle the round table discussion.
Shaka? Thanks very much, Prof. Thanks, colleagues. Thanks, Wimbai. I think that was a mouthful and well informative, encouraging. You know, always when we are on platform like this, we learn a lot. And I've been wondering, because I've been seeing this biosafety, biosecurity, a concept from the ASLM. So now at least it comes closer to home. Thanks very much, Wimbai. As Prof has indicated, any comment from the panelists, any observations or any input from the team? Can we, before we get to the questions, look at it, if ever there is any input from the panelists? I thank you.
I'll break the ice. That was such an insightful presentation, and it did point out to the issue that so many times we don't look at what we already have and build on that. So at least it did build on to ensure, to say that even in our training, even as pre-service training, we do learn some biosafety and biosecurity issues, but they need to continually be strengthened. And this is a call up to the colleagues who are involved in teaching here, and also us as students, when we are students, to also take it upon ourselves that we have a responsibility to ensure that we learn these principles and be able to apply them. Then post-service, we need, post our education and following graduation, we need to apply these principles. And we also have many resources available to help empower us. And it's a pity that sometimes as professionals, we note things that are affecting us, but we do not take action. So it's a call upon us. We are responsible for ensuring safety of the environment which we work and safety of the public to what we work with, the infectious material that we do handle. And let's take it upon ourselves to practice these principles and also utilize the resources that are available to learn and also strengthen the systems that are available. We note that the Africa CDC has done lots of work working with countries. And within the countries, let's avail ourselves as professionals to contribute towards the efforts of strengthening biosafety and biosecurity. For now, I'll stop there. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thanks very much. Dr. Zobo, any comment, Dr. Matsao?
Yes, actually, I wanted to talk about, I must first thank her. Thank you very much, but this was excellent. I really enjoyed your presentation. And you've actually exposed some of the weaknesses that we have in academic centers. I'm part of the lab management module lecturers that is given by the University of Stellenbosch here in South Africa. And I can tell you, in that module, we don't have a dedicated slot for biosafety and security. We do have waste management, but I think it is about time that we, the universities across the continent, try to consider this and have this, even if it can be incorporated within the waste management platform, but it is very important to highlight it. And you also mentioned something very interesting. What happened recently with the COVID?
What happened with the COVID?
Ooh, I don't know. I have
I don't know.
I have an echo. Do I still have an echo?
No, you can proceed.
No,
I
you
think Abebe there has got
Let's go ahead.
a challenge
Okay.
there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay. In any way, we saw this earlier with the hemorrhagic fever that hit, and much recently we saw it with COVID. And Chaka is actually my colleague. And one of the things that we have noticed here in our center is that the issue was not only limited to the lab professionals. We know that even cleaners, people who know very little about the safety, were actually impacted. We saw it across many centers globally that COVID was not selective. When you gave an example of the yogurt cup, it was very clear that this is actually what continues to happen even on this day. So I think both all of us here who are academics, we need to try to literally grab the bull by its horn, because you really expose the weaknesses that we're actually overlooking. And we know that we have another pandemic coming in a matter of time, and it must find us ready. Thank you so much for the brilliant presentation. Chaka, are you talking? I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Yes, can you? Yeah, now I think I was muted from the other side. So thanks. If in case there is no other comment, we'll just wrap up, and then we get to the questions. There were a couple of questions which were highlighted. I think Sonia and the team there highlighted about the presentations, whether they will be shared. If you go to our platforms, which has been indicated on the link there, you will get all this for free, as we always do. If there is any other question, Prof. Machingura, from your side, if you are seeing it, can you just pose that question to our panelists so that we can attend to? Because from my side, I can't see any chat box here. It seems as if there are no questions. Any closing remarks from the colleagues? Prof. Machingura, can you start and then we wrap up? Vitai, your closing remarks, maybe let's start with you and then we'll get to the panelist. Vimbai is saying is muted. Sonia, can you unmute the guest speaker there so that he can have closing remarks?
Okay, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much, Chaka. Thank you so much, Bettina, for your comments. And I'm glad that as the tertiary institutions, you are going to take this on board and develop the biosafety and biosecurity modules. Training is required, really. We really need to push on that. I saw there was a question in the chat box. Someone was asking with the number of people trained on biosafety and security, whether it includes those from the Ministry of Health. It partially does. There were some that were trained under the Fleming Fund, but I think more information is required. Through the technical working group, you can get in touch with us if there were others that were trained so that we update our trainers register. But thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to more engagements. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I know there are some questions, Chaka. Please allow them to ask the questions, and also we'll have a video from Empower School of Health before I do my closing remarks. You can attend to those additions or questions that are from colleagues raising their hands, Chaka. All right, Emmanuel, whilst Chaka is trying to unmute, Emmanuel, can you indicate your question? Emmanuel?
Okay. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Nigeria. I'm Adamaleko Emmanuel, a medical laboratory scientist working in Nigeria. Thank you so much for organizing this webinar. I'm a young medical laboratory scientist, and I'm looking forward to start a career in biosafety and biosecurity. So I want to ask, how do I start a career in this path? I know it's something every medical laboratory scientist should know, but I want to go in it because I believe the situation of things I have in my facility where I practice, this is something we need to take into consideration. One, how do I start to their resources, training programs for young people like myself who are interested in biosecurity. I know there is one going on by BWC, but is there any training for from the African CDC? Yeah, thank you so much.
If I can respond, Chair. Thank you
Yes,
so
go
much,
ahead.
Emmanuel. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, all the way from Nigeria. We appreciate you. Yes, there are some trainings that you can actually be a part of. Actually, if you look at Kenya, Kenya has a whole program on biosafety and biosecurity. They're actually offering scholarships for BSc. The BSc, yeah. So you can actually apply at the Mulilo, is it Mulilo, Musindo Mulilo University of Science and Technology in Kenya. There is a program for biosafety. And then in Nigeria, there is a technical working group on biosafety and biosecurity. I'll try and look for the contact and share with you. Then they can link you with the trainings from Africa CDC. And then if you go to the WHO, World Health Organization website, they are offering fundamental principles of biosafety and biosecurity. It's an online program. I think it depends with how much time you're going to input into it, but I think within a few weeks you can get a certificate, as well as the Canada Health Institute. I think they do have programs. So if you can just Google biosafety and biosecurity programs. There are so many that are actually available. But I think the important one is for you to be able to link up with the Nigeria Technical Working Group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Samson, who has also have another question. I think that's the last question before we ask Sonia to play the video, then we'll close. Samson, go ahead. Samson, kindly allow Samson and Chaka to unmute Sonia.
Okay, thank you, Ian. My question is about COVID. There are some theories, many theories, which were describing the origins of COVID-19, including bioterrorism and other theories. What is the proven theory concerning COVID-19, the origin of COVID-19? Thank you.
To my knowledge, there are many theories being raised of its origin from and really I wouldn't say I have come across an article which does indicate the real origin, but in terms of the proven theory, even though they say it's from China, Wuhan. But it only points us that the human-animal health interface, there is need to ensure that we are safe, we work safely, and also points out to the importance of biosafety and biosecurity. I'm not sure among the team, anyone who has come out, who has come up with the proven theory, who has come across the proven theory for the origin of COVID-19?
It will be a very difficult one to say. You know, when I was working for NICD, which is National Institute for Communicable Disease here in South Africa, I think they are one of the few, Vimbai maybe can attest to that, with the BSL-4 laboratory. I realized COVID has been there before as a test, or which, I mean, the viruses themselves, they've been there. If you check even on some of the books, prior 2000, they were there. But 19, I tend to believe that it was the issue of saying it was discovered in 2019, but there were other strains which were COVID related, even mentioned to COVID, because even on one of the test repertoire of one of our private lab here in South Africa, I realized that they have been testing COVID for some times. For it to be said it comes from China, I don't know. As well, it seems as if it might be one of those political conspiracy, which we don't know, but you never know. And scientifically, as a scientist, I don't want to tread on wrong territory where I'm not capacitated in terms of if I can't prove it, like what it was said that it was a Chinese virus. That's my comment, Prof.
Thank you. And I've taken your chairmanship by mistake. That was the last question. So we will allow the video to from Empower to be played. Then we close. Then you allow me to close, if that's okay.
No, that's fine, Prof. Let's do that. I think it is now time. Yes.
Sonia, kindly play the video. Empower School of Health is our partner with the working with Africa Consortium on Laboratory System Strengthening. So we also take the opportunity to allow also them to showcase what they have on offer. And Sonia, as she's loading the video, please also visit their website. They've been kindly working with us for years, and we really are grateful for their support, which enables us to have the registration, which allows us to have support during the webinar, and the certificates that we have, which allows you to use them for CPD points. And we are really grateful for their support. Sonia, you can play the video.
Thank you, Ian. So thank you all for your attendance for today's webinar. And this video, which I'm going to play right now, this is specifically on the recently launched course that we launched in collaboration with UNITA and with other accreditation as well. So this is a digital health course, and it is a postgraduate diploma for 12 months. So it may be of your interest, because digital health is something which is very important in all the areas across. So please have a look, and if you have any other area of interest, you can visit our website. We have multiples of other courses in different domains available. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonia.
The future of healthcare is digital. Are you ready to be a part of it? Over the past decade, the public health sector has transformed, increasingly adopting digital tools and technologies. Unsurprisingly, the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated this transformation, highlighting the vital role of digital health in our future. This transformation has created a surge in demand for professionals skilled in digital health.
Oh, it has stopped, Sonia.
Opening the doors for a new era of healthcare innovation. At Empower School of Health, we're leading the way in educating professionals across the globe in public health. With over 250,000 professionals trained across 100+ countries, our online, in-person, and technical programs are shaping the future of healthcare. Empower's digital health courses, in collaboration with UNITA, offer a comprehensive understanding of the landscape, from the tools driving healthcare innovation to real-world applications. Designed to foster career growth, these courses prepare you for numerous roles, shaping the future of healthcare innovation and management. Our courses offer flexible, self-paced learning in an engaging online format, making complex topics easier to understand. Additionally, you'll have access to video lectures from global experts, world-class books, articles, and case studies. Learn from a diverse team of world-class faculty, experts in their domains, guiding you through every step of this transformative journey. Empower's digital health course offers a pathway to success across all career levels. Whether you're stepping into the field, advancing into management, or leading change in digital health, helping shape the future of healthcare. Empower your career with the future of healthcare. Enroll today and be part of the digital transformation in healthcare.
Thank you, Ian. That's all. And if anybody is interested for this particular course or any other course, please get connected with us. The contact information is available on the website, and the link has been posted on the chat box. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonia. Thanks, Prof. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Vimbai, and all the attendees, the panelists. It has been a very nice webinar, and please, colleagues, in the near future. Whenever you hear this sharing of informations, and all of us will grow and make a better continent together. In fact, even the entire globe from what we are busy doing. Thanks very much and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you and bye.
And on behalf of Africa Consortium of Lab System Strengthening, we would want to thank the chair, Dr. Chakando, Bettina Chalematsau, and we would also want to thank especially our presenter, Vimbai Mkondiwa, and Empower School of Health, and all of you for taking your time to be part of this. And we look forward to you joining us in further conversations. And thank you very much. Let's continue celebrating the Laboratory Professionals Week. Let's have a good week.
Thank you, Prof. Thanks. Hey.
Thank you.